What's poppin'? In this video, we're gonna talk about horrible habits that make people dislike you. Now, some of you might be commenting things like, oh, well, I shouldn't care what other people think. I've seen some of those comments before. And the truth is, you have to care what people think about you, because if people don't like you, it's gonna make your way of living so much more difficult. It's gonna be harder when it comes to making friends. It's gonna be harder when it comes to success at your job, even dating and relationships. Understanding how to properly navigate people will drastically change your life for the better. So without further ado, we're gonna jump right into it. Number one, constantly correcting people for small mistakes that don't matter. Now look, there's nothing wrong with correcting someone over a small mistake here and there, especially if it's something that's really important, like they're constantly pronouncing your name wrong. It becomes a problem when you're constantly, every minor mistake, correcting people over every little thing. Here is a very quick short form video I made talking about this. Tiny habits that make people dislike you. Constantly correcting people over small mistakes that don't matter.
So bro, how was your weekend?
Oh, it was good, man. I read this book called The Alchemist. Such an inspiring book.
Well, technically, the book isn't inspiring, it's allegorical, because the book uses symbolism to convey deep philosophical ideas, but great book.
Anyway, I don't know if we can go to the park tomorrow. Apparently it's supposed to rain like a lot.
What do you mean by like a lot?
Dude, you know what I mean. So it's just good to keep in mind that we should have empathy for one another and that people are bound to make mistakes. None of us are perfect people. So when those mistakes inevitably happen, just let them go. Number two, constantly making the conversation about you. So part of being a great conversationalist is having the ability to allow the other person to have the shine, to have the spotlight. And people love to talk about themselves. So if you're somebody who has a capability to allow people to do that, they will love you. Now, this isn't to say that you should never share anything about yourself. It's just that when you share things about yourself, do it tastefully. So for example, if someone asks you a question about yourself, go ahead and share it. If they ask for your opinion on something, go ahead and share it. If they bring up something you can relate to, bring up your perspective and then put the spotlight back on them. For example, if someone tells you that they went camping and you did too, you could say, hey, so did I. How'd you like the experience? One of the biggest mistakes people make, and it happens all the time, is the other person will share something that they can relate to. And when that happens, they take the spotlight from the person and just start going on a monologue, talking about themselves. For example, someone says, yo, guess what? I just went camping. And then the other person goes, really? So did I. I went with a few friends and it was blah, 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 and then they just keep going. And in that scenario, the other person who shared that they went camping got completely cut off. Constantly making the conversation about you makes you come across as self-centered. And the way to overcome this is to adopt a giving mentality in a conversation. Be the one who always puts the spotlight on others. And I'm telling you, people are gonna love you. Number three, not looking after your appearance. We live in a world where a lot of the way we're treated depends on how we look. It's shallow, but it's the truth. And honestly, the way we look tends to be a bit of a reflection of who we are as people. If you dress well, you're in shape, you look healthy, people tend to associate positive traits with you because you need positive traits to build and maintain those things, which in turn makes people like you. From a more primal sense, it communicates that you're a healthy person worthy of reproducing. Now, there's a lot of ways to go about this, like I mentioned, dressing well or eating better or exercising, but one of the most overlooked ways, especially for men, is having a good skincare routine. It is so overlooked. I have close guy friends still to this day that I've talked to on the phone about my own skincare routine, and I've asked them about their own, and they say, why do I need a skincare routine? I'm a man. If you are a man watching this, do not have that mentality. Have you seen the picture of the truck driver who had one side of his face exposed to the sun on the driver's side window? That's what happens when you expose your face to the sun with no sun protection or any kind of skincare routine. UV rays from the sun can lead to more fine lines, wrinkles, aging, spots, and all kinds of things. And skipping a regular skincare routine in general will leave you with less healthy looking skin. All of these things will make you look less healthy over time. And fellas, because I know you're gonna care about this too, women notice. They notice. I can't tell you the number of women who've shown me a lot of attention, and the first line they said to me when they approached me, they made the first move was, oh my God, I love your skin. Now, over 4 years ago, I started my skincare routine, and the skincare routine that I chose is a sponsor of today's video, Tiege Hanley. Tiege Hanley has an amazing product line, but the two that have been a game changer for me are the wash and the AM moisturizer. And I'm telling you this as someone who started their skincare routine with Tiege Hanley over 4 years ago now. And they make it extremely simple and easy for you to get started with your skincare routine. And if you need more proof, they have over 7,000 5-star reviews. Like for real, Tiege Hanley has revolutionized skincare for men, and they're about to do the same for you. You can get yourself the wash And the AM moisturizer for only $9 is an insane deal. Just click the link in the top link in the description box or in the pinned comment, or go to teej.com/Josh to take advantage of this deal. It is literally $9. You do not have an excuse anymore to start your skincare routine journey. So click the top link in the description box or the pinned comment and start your skincare journey. It will change your life, I'm telling you. Number 4, always canceling plans last minute. Woo, this is something I used to do a lot. I gotta be honest with y'all. I actually have an example, and I'll put it on the screen here, of a text thread I have with a friend where I was supposed to meet up with him for a lunch and I just bailed on it. I just couldn't make it. And it was really because I just had some things pop up last minute and I had to change up my schedule. So I'm not really saying that you can't acknowledge that life happens and sometimes you just can't make things. But if it's a consistent thing that you're constantly canceling plans with people, you have to take a look at that. Because if you can limit the amount of times this happens, it helps you become a person of your word. It helps you become someone who's reliable and trustworthy. Because if you're constantly telling people you're gonna do X, Y, Z at this time on this day, and then you never follow through on it, how can someone take you seriously? And actually, not even just canceling plans on people, but just being someone who's late often. Because that also just shows a lack of respect for someone else's time, which will 100% make people not like you. So in order to limit the amount of times you keep canceling on plans last minute, just be very slow to make plans and make promises with people. And if there's something specifically you're not sure you can make, say that. You can say something like, I'm not sure if I can make it, let me get back to you. And whenever you do make plans with someone, be there. Number 5, a weak voice. If you have a voice that sounds weak or timid, people will dislike you. Because there's something about displaying weakness of any kind, especially in group settings, that leaves you vulnerable to getting teased, picked on, right, made fun of, left out of conversations, or just the overall feeling like your value is below everyone else's. There's some habits that I had that you might relate to. For example, I used to always end my sentences quietly. For example, if I was going to suggest going to a movie, I would say something like, oh, maybe we could go to a movie or something. Doing that displays such weakness and such a lack of confidence because you're communicating to people that you're afraid of being rejected. You're not confident in your opinion. So my tip for you is when you're speaking, make sure you end your sentences strongly. End your sentences like you mean what you say. Another one is upspeak or uptalk, but it's essentially when you keep ending your sentences going up as if you're asking a question. And the issue with this again is that it shows weakness. Because when you're speaking and you're saying things like, well, I was kind of thinking maybe we could go outside or go to the beach or something, it completely comes across like you're unsure about what you're saying and you're seeking rapport, you're seeking validation. That's what it feels like. But what you have to do instead is you got to end your sentences more flat or downward. I was thinking maybe we could go outside. Let's go see a movie. Only end your sentences going upward if you're actually asking a question. Do y'all want to go outside? Hope you find this video helpful, and remember to start small, do your best, and remember some progress is better than no progress. Peace!